Hey guys, today let's talk about 15, 16 perennials that you can seed start in June. Yeah, many gardeners, they think about seed starting in spring. That's a fun time to do it. But when you do it in June, the temperatures are warmer. The nighttime temperatures are staying higher, so you don't have the extreme fluctuations in temperature between day and night like I do here in spring. And yes, these will get off to a much better start, be healthier plants, starting them in June. So I have my list. And number one, Echinacea. I love Echinacea, but you know what? They do like it warm to get started, and the milder night times, the lack of fluctuating temperatures is really key to getting these to grow well. They're a very rewarding perennial. I have found the I don't want to say generic. What do you mean? The regular Echinacea purpurea is the easiest for most people to grow, but there's other hybrids like the white ones, White Swan and Powwow White. There is the Powwow Purple or Pink or whatever it is. It's a real bright fuchsia. Yeah, those are all beautiful too. Now they are excellent at reseeding. The hybrids will not always come true. When I say come true, I mean they will not be, like if I had my Powwow White reseed themselves, they would not come back white. They would usually come back almost a muddy pink. It's not even very attractive to my eye. But yeah, so if you want to just white, you would restart new seeds, and then you had white because you bought white seeds. But also you could do root divisions, and I think I have a video on dividing Echinacea at the root, and yeah, keep on growing. So there's also hybrids, other hybrids that you can buy at the garden center, but they don't grow from seed because they are, what do you call, sterile hybrids. I warn you about that because I have seen online, like Etsy and not Facebook, what is the other one? eBay. They'll have seeds of a particular variety that is a sterile hybrid, and they're selling them, and they will not germinate. So if you pick up one at a garden center, you need to look it up and see if you can grow seeds from it. But many times the hybrids will not come true if you save your own seeds. Just fair warning. But if you get the regular Echinacea purpurea, purple coneflower, yes, they will come true from seeds. And this time of year, they're easy to get started. Number two, Yarrow. I just did a video on Yarrow, on the 11 things you need to know about growing Yarrow. It's been very popular. I've had a lot of comments saying how people find it so aggressive in their garden. In the video, I did warn you, you need to keep it deadheaded. If it spreads by rhizomes, not all of them spread aggressively by rhizomes. Like the hybrids I have that are in the pinks and the dwarfwoods I have, it's a very slow pace that they spread. And I keep them deadheaded so that they do not reseed themselves too readily. But Yarrow is perfect for hot and dry conditions, and they'll bloom right on once they start, right on until frost. So, and they usually, well, I shouldn't say usually, they are super easy to grow from seed. So, Coreopsis. Yes, I did a video on growing Coreopsis. And there's the regular tick seed, the bright yellow. They reseed very readily. Usually the ones that start from seed very easily, they also reseed themselves very readily. I keep them deadheaded. That keeps them blooming. They are very popular with pollinators, and they like hot and dry conditions as well, at least in my garden. I have a few threadleaf Coreopsis. Sorry, I got a hair on my eyelash. And I haven't noticed them reseeding themselves yet. So we'll see. I just started the Incredible Swirl this year from seed, and I'll put them out in the garden and I'll see if they do reseed. So those are beautiful, tough plants that start very easy from seed, Coreopsis. So number four, Shasta Daisies. I love Shasta Daisies. My favorite is Crazy Daisies, because of the different forms and shapes of the flowers and the petals. From a packet of seeds, you don't know what exactly you're going to get, but I have several different ones throughout my garden. Some have very short petals, some have long drapey petals, some are all these curly Q petals. Yeah, just some beautiful varieties. Grow very easily from seed. Many say that it's reblooming if you deadhead. I haven't been successful in getting a very good rebloom from them, but they bloom for several weeks. And one way I get longevity, I should say, in blooming time of them is when they're a certain height, they haven't started blooming yet, when they're a certain height, I'll cut half of it back by half. So the one part that was uncut will bloom beautifully, and then the next part will continue on and then go ahead and bloom, and usually when this one is done. So that's how I get a little bit longer bloom with my daisies. You try that and see how it works for you. But yeah, like I said, I don't get a very good rebloom after they've bloomed just by deadheading. But they do start very easily from seed. They don't mind hot and dry. For me, the deer don't like them when they're blooming. I've never noticed them eating them when they're babies, but if you have rabbit or deer pressure, you know there's almost nothing they won't eat. Did that make sense? So, okay, that's the Shasta Daisies. Cottage garden favorite for sure. So, Rudbeckia or Black-Eyed Susans. Yes, I love Black-Eyed Susans. I've grown the Indian Summer, which is a pure, beautiful yellow, big flowers. The Sahara mix, I have fallen in love with that. It is a more muted, tame color. It has several shades of all these different beautiful, mellow colors. One is even a reddish or a burgundy-ish, but a very mellow one. It's light colored. It's not pink. Anyways, love them. Also, Cappuccino was very beautiful. A Denver Daisy. Now, all of these reseed readily, but they cross-pollinate. So you never know what you're going to get when they seed themselves or you collect seeds from them. So I also have a double that I just absolutely love. It's in a portion of the garden, and I have a lot of babies coming up around it, so I'll see how they turned out. These cross-pollinate across each other in the garden. So I probably already said that. Anyways, we'll see what we get. But they do. They love hot and dry, bloom from the time when they start all the way through frost, and that is with deadheading. Penstemon, number 6. I love the Penstemon in my garden. I have a couple, 3. I have an apple blossom one. I haven't seen it bloom yet, but I have a red one, beautiful red, and I have a purple one that is absolutely gorgeous. They start from seed very easily. They're tubular flowers. The hummingbirds love them. And yeah, my red one blooms through till frost once it starts with deadheading. So there's a bunch of them that I think Renee's Garden Seeds has some. I think they're called hummingbird Penstemon. It comes in different colors from the seed packet. But if you want a specific color, just do a little shopping online. And yeah, I think I grew the red one from seed. I think the purple one, I think I grew them both from seed. I don't remember picking them up at a garden center, but the apple blossom I did pick up at a garden center. So many of these are native to Western North America, and they'll thrive even in challenging conditions. So 7, Verbena Bonariensis. They have these airy purple flowers. Mine get about 4 feet tall, so they float above other flowers, but they're airy enough or wiry enough that you can see through where the stems are, so they don't really block the view of other plants, but they just provide movement in the garden. They are a pollinator magnet. If there's one thing that attracts or always has pollinators on it, like bees, butterflies, and bees, also the hummingbirds love it as well. Loves hot and dry conditions too. So that's a beautiful one. There are the shorter growing ones, but those ones do not come, you can't grow them from seed. So the plants, I had tried Lollipop. It did not come back or live through the winter for me. I would like to try it again. Maybe it was where it was located. So there's another one from Proven Winners that's a shorter growing. I think it's called Meteor Showers. But I don't know how hardy that one is either. Sometimes the shorter ones aren't as hardy as the taller ones. And they don't come back from seed, the shorter ones. So those you'd have to divide, take cuttings from. I haven't tried to take cuttings from my Verbena Bonariensis. It might be one to try. But mine reseeds so readily that I don't really need to propagate it that way. So Hollyhocks, number 8. Hollyhocks, I did a video recently on 11 things to know to grow hollyhocks. Hollyhocks are those tall, stately cottage flowers, gorgeous array of colors. Some people do have a problem with rust. I even addressed that in my video on it. I have a couple of videos on them. But yes, hummingbirds love them. When you start in June, because many of them are biennial blooming, mine act like perennials in my garden, but usually they don't bloom until the following year. But if you start them in June, next summer you will get blooms. So that's a great reason to start them early. And they even have the doubles. The doubles don't seem to come back as readily as the singles do for me, but they are worth growing because they are gorgeous. So 9, Agastache or hummingbird mint. Yes, they are perfect for hot and dry conditions. I have only grown the purple and the one called something sunset. Anyways, it's a coral and peachy color, beautiful in the garden. Hummingbirds love the tubular flowers because they don't all look tubular, but if you look closely, they are little tubular flowers on there. Bees and butterflies also love them. They'll bloom from when they start in summer all the way till frost. And they thrive in sunny locations. They need excellent drainage. I've had mine reseed in areas. I have not tried to dig up and transplant, so we'll see how well they do that because I have some coming up in a barrel with some roses, and I didn't put them there, so they came up volunteer. 10, Gaura. So Gaura is another one like the Verbena Bonariensis that provides movement. They're very airy. In fact, the white ones that grow readily from seed are called whirling butterflies is one of them. I love the dwarf, but I haven't found the seeds for dwarf, so they must be a hybrid that you can only buy plants of. But there is a white one at Swallowtail Garden Seeds that has pink. The seeds aren't available right now, but I want to try those. Other Gaura has gotten a little weedy looking in my garden, but they are gorgeous in tough, dry conditions. And maybe where I had them, they got a little too much water, and that made them become, I wouldn't say unkempt. They just looked weedy in my garden for some reason. But that was the regular whirling butterflies. So maybe other types would not. So I'm going to try them again because I love airiness of Verbena Bonariensis, but I love white in the garden too. So go with some Gaura. 11, Monarda or bee balm. That is a pollinator powerhouse. The hummingbirds absolutely flock to mine. I have the red, I think it's Jacob Klein. I also have purple rooster, and I have a lavender one that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, beautiful. You could start them from seed. They love many of the modern ones have improved mildew resistance because in humider climates you can get mildew. I still get mildew on mine towards the end of summer, but they're in amongst other flowers, so it really doesn't hurt the flowers. The foliage just looks a little ratty. And I just embrace it because there's some things I like the gray foliage on, so why wouldn't I like the gray foliage on the Monarda? They do spread, mine do spread from rhizomes crawling on the soil. They're very easy to pull up. It's like they're very shallow rooted, so don't let that worry you. But the foliage smells beautiful as well. Foxglove. Foxgloves are perfect. Many are biennial. They have the flowering spikes that bumblebees love. You will often see the bumblebees sleeping overnight in the foxglove blooms. Also, hummingbirds love them. They're a great early bloomer. As I said, they are considered a biennial. Some will actually bloom the first year, but it'll say that on the seed packets. But most are biennial. So when you start them in June, they will bloom the following summer. They get started. They are hardier. They are hardy through the winter in many zones. They will reseed readily. Now, before anybody gets off and says they are poisonous, yes, they are. But I don't eat them. I don't have dogs or kids that eat them. I grew them when I had small children, and my children did not eat plants out of the garden voluntarily. I never had any problems, but they were always warned and trained that you didn't eat stuff out of the garden unless I brought it in myself, like the vegetables. So anyways, foxgloves, had to throw the warning in there. 13, Sweet Williams. These are, they produce clusters of fragrant flowers. Mine are blooming right now. I should go out and get some snaps of them so I can include that. Pink, red, white, and burgundy. With a packet of seeds, if it's a mix, you don't know what you're going to get, but they are beautiful. Compact growth, very sweet scented. They're great along pathways and borders and in cutting gardens. So yes, Sweet Williams, and they come back. They're also a biennial, so when you sow them in June, next year they will bloom beautifully. 14, this is one of my favorites, and this is a surprisingly holds up in a vase as a cutting flower. I did not know that until I cut them, and they just lasted forever. And that's Canterbury Bells, another biennial. So starting them in June means you will get flowers next year. They have bell-shaped flowers, very romantic, beautiful colors, white, pink, and purple. They give it plenty of times to be established before winter when you sow them in June. They will overwinter, and next summer they will bloom for you. And if you cut them, you'll get repeat flowering too. Maybe not as great as the first flowering, but I've had them flower and I've had them reseed themselves. 15, Salvia Nemorosa. I have planted some Violet Queen and others, but perfect. I've had mine reseed. I have what's called, let me see, Salvia Meadow Sage is another name for it. Beautiful purple spikes will rebloom with deadheading. They started very easy from seed. They're drought tolerant, low maintenance, and they're a favorite for many cottage gardens. They bring a beautiful purple right now that's in my artist garden, which is purple and orange scheme. So how about some tips for starting perennials in June? So this differs slightly from spring starting seeds. The warm temperatures will speed up germination, and they also can dry out fast if you start in seed trays. So you have to be mindful of keeping them watered. One way I do when I do them out there in the garden is I have misters attached to my garden, to my irrigation system. I'll put them under the trays, under the misters, and I make sure they get misted, or I turn it on for 10 minutes in the morning. They get misted. You don't want them to stay too wet. So depending on how much rain you get, I get none in the summer, you want to adjust. But just keep them moist. Don't let them dry out. Best success. Let me read this. So keep seed trays evenly moist. Provide morning sun and afternoon shade. Use a well-draining seed starting mix. Cover trays with a humidity dome until germination. I don't do that because where I put them when they're out in the garden, it's damp ground. So the humidity there is just there. So I don't have to add a humidity dome. I have found with my seed starting this year that not putting a humidity dome on my trays curtailed any fungal problems. I had no fungal problems, whereas when I use a humidity dome, you can get fungal problems. So that's just a word to the wise as far as my experience has been, even with indoor seed starting on my seed rack under the lights. So you don't have to use a humidity dome. Test it out for yourself and see. We live in very arid climate, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Or maybe because of my seed rack, I had a lot of seeds going, so there was humidity in that little area. I don't know, but I just try it and see if you have more success without the humidity domes. So I just wanted to plug that in there. But also, like I have a bunch of things starting in here, and I don't use humidity domes, and it gets pretty hot in here. So protect seedlings from extreme afternoon heat. Now in here, it gets pretty hot, but it's diffuse sunlight, so they're not getting direct light. Yeah, I have, oh, I wanted to add one more before we get going too far. Feverfew. I just started pom-pom feverfew. Let me see. Snowball. I wanted to show you this. See if I, is that? Anyways, that is another one you can start. Loves the heat, is drought tolerant. I don't know if this one reseeds itself. My others do. Some people consider feverfew aggressive. I just pull up what I don't want. I edit is what I call that. And yeah, I don't find them a problem. And they also pull up very, very easy. They can get very tall. I just hack them back when they're first coming up and they get maybe a foot tall. The ones that I want to stay shorter, chop them back. They bloom a little bit later, but they are shorter. And also, once they start going to seed, I will chop them back hard and they will rebloom but shorter. So that's my tip on feverfew. All right. So once the plants develop several sets of true leaves, gradually acclimate them to more sunlight before transplanting. What I do from here in my greenhouse, since this is diffused light, I put them out on the porch and in front of my greenhouse where they do get some sun, but then they get afternoon shade. And that seems to work in acclimating them enough. I usually for about a week. And then I put them out where I want them to go, or I pot them up into larger containers, like gallon containers. I have tons of them that I've saved. And that lets them get a little bit bigger before I put them out in the garden. Also, if then I can decide where I really, really want them. So the great advantage of starting in June is the soil is warm, which promotes really good germination and strong, healthy plants. Strong, healthy plants means that they are more pest resistant when you put them out in the garden, and all of the above. Strong, healthy plants is the goal, and starting in June, you don't have to have any fancy equipment. You don't have to have seed starting rats. You don't have to have heat mats. You don't have to, I don't use humidity domes. I use a vermiculite on top. That's one of my tricks, because vermiculite will hold the moisture, whereas the soil may dry out a bit faster. But yeah, and many of these I have found they like light, bright light to get started. So if you don't have to have lights, saves you on electricity. So all of those things are good, and they just grow more quickly. If you start seeds in spring, if you have, you will notice sometimes they seem to just stall, don't go any further, and you're like, what is going on? Well, that's just one of the things with the spring starting. And so June is great. I love starting in June. I showed you the feverfew I'm starting. I also started some pom-pom yarrow. I'm going to start, what else was I on there? Oh, Oh, scabiosa. That's another one. Beautiful. I'm going to start this one. But anything really that loves the heat. Now I'll do another one on annuals. I'm starting from seed in June. And I think we'll see if we get there. I've got so much to do. So many ideas to video. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. And one moment, I'm going to get you something. So before we end this video, those of you who are waiting for my letters from Flower Patch, my snail mail subscription, I guess that's what you call it, membership, I am working on the art piece. So I wanted to do a hummingbird series. And this was my first practice one. This is not making the cut, but I just wanted to share with you what I had in mind. And so more is coming. I'm working on another one. And yeah, so that's the update on that, working on the art piece. And I wanted to make something that was in a series so that you could frame them if you wanted and go along with all the goodies. So I'll see you in my next video.